What's up guys, it's Robert from TheFloatLife. The last video I did on the rally board was not my best work. Some people from the community pointed out we could have done a better job. And so that's what we're doing today. We spared no expense. Let's get into it. This is our table right here that we're gonna use. We just went down to Home Depot and got this nifty digital auto calibrating level. So we have a nice flat surface here. The table is also straight, which is gonna make it easier to do a side-by-side. So first thing we wanna do, because for our reference, for all of these angles, we're gonna be using the center of the rail. So, whoa! We wanna do control for as many variables as possible. So we're not gonna be using tires for this test. So first thing we wanna do is just see what the center of the rail is on the rally board. Now this is in flow. Yeah. Nico, what are we reading there?
Reading at about 0.
But hold on, let me make sure it's not up on the edge there. We'll push it forward so it's on the flat part.
We're varying between 0.0 and 0.1.
Okay, so that's within the measurement error of this gauge. Now let's try it on the other side, because you know the rails aren't always going to be perfectly the same. But let's see what the other side looks like. I'm reading 0.00. Oh, hold on, just stop moving. 0.0, 0.1. There's 0.0. Okay, within 0.1 degrees of dead level. So that means that just like a stock board, the center of the rail as a reference point is going to be our level. Instead of measuring the height up here, we're going to take a little bit of a different approach that's more practical, which is what is your nose angle when you are hitting the ground, or what would be the steepest hill you could climb before scraping the nose. So to do that, we have a stock board down here, and we're going to be using the same bumper for both tests. Just to make sure we have a same reference point, we're going to have a smooth flat glass plate here that we actually put the board on, and we're going to make sure that the hub is lined up at the same point. And then our first measurement we're going to do, because you could have different PSIs in your tire. It could be fully inflated, the tire is nearly 11 inches, or you could be really aired down for trails. Your board could be plus or minus an inch, I'm going to say, to account for different scenarios. So let's get started with our first setting. Put these spacers under here to get it at just the right point. All right. So Nico, can you just help me out here a little bit? Yeah. So the center, just make sure this is lined up to show how high the center of the axle is.
Right in between the hub bolts.
Yeah. This should be at around the 4 1/4.
That is correct.
Setting. Okay, so 4 1/4. If you have an 11-inch tire, that's 5 1/2 inches would be center if you're not putting any weight on it. So 4 1/4 means you're sinking down 3/4 of an inch. That's pretty typical for a soft tire trail setup. So we're gonna do one set of data for that. So we got our bumper on. This is our trail setup. Let's get this on here and let's just see what angle we contact. There we go. That's fully in there. We're lined up with that line on the front here. You want to mark the center of the hub. Yeah. Okay, so that's our reference point. And what are we getting?
We are getting exactly 14.0 degrees.
Like this?
Yep, still 14.0 degrees.
All right, you want to put that in here under...
Do we want to test the other rail?
So put it on there, 4.25. And then let's swap it over to the other side. 14.1. 14.0, hold on. I'm going to call that 14.1.
14.1? Yep.
And then just to do like a little sanity check, let's move this around a little bit. Let's redo this a little bit. What are we getting over here again? Let's measure it one more time.
Getting still 14.0.
Okay, so there isn't too much variance between readings. So that is for our rally board. Let's put this aside.
And so for that, are we taking the average of both those sides?
And we'll take the average because it could be like a little bit like this. And so...
Yeah, it just depends on how the rails are tightened on there. things like that.
Which, by the way we put these on, we loosened all the hub bolts and then put some weight on it so that the axle would be right up against the inside of the rails on both boards, and then tightened it back down. So let's see. Same bumper back on here. We might need a little help because of that.
Yeah,
that taper thing. Well, actually, these are straight rails, so maybe we could put them here.
That should be good.
Is that good, or is it hitting the screws?
That's a good question.
I don't think it's hitting the screws. Put this all the way down. Hub is at the black line on here.
Move it slightly forward.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, what do we got?
We are reading exactly 15.0 degrees.
What about up here in the middle?
15.0 degrees. 15.0 degrees.
Okay. Over on this side, I'm getting 15.0. Well, that has a screw in. Oh, there we go. 15.0. Well, it's fluctuating. 15.1, 15.0. 15.0 is where it's staying. Okay, let's move this around. Let's take the bumper out, put it back in. Do a quick sanity check here. What are we getting now?
15.1. 15.0. 15.0. I think it's safe to say 15.0.
Safe to say 15.0. All right, so that is for our lowest equivalent low PSI. Now, let's do a 1-inch rise. These are 1-inch gauge blocks. Okay. Oh no, my line is off.
Backwards.
Whoop. Okay, now, rally board. The bumper's on there. How's that line on the front?
Move it just a tad this way. There we go.
Okay. What do we got?
We are reading 19.1 degrees stable. Yeah, let's make
Try it
sure
again.
this is 19.1. 19.0. 19.1. 19.1.
Hold on, let's see what happens if I push a little bit more.
Make sure you're putting as much pressure.
We just want to push enough so that the bumper is firmly on the...
Correct.
Okay.
And yeah, now we are getting 19.1.
19.2. 19.2.
Sounds good.
Okay, and let's, move it 19.2, move it back 19.2. So this doesn't change it. Of course it doesn't, but let's just be absolutely super sure. Okay, bumper off. Okay, how are we looking on that line on the front?
We are centered.
Okay.
Actually, move it at just a tad. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. And what do we got?
20.1. 20.1 degrees. 20.1 degrees.
Okay. On this side, 20.2. 20.2. 20.2. 20.2. All right, that's a solid 20.2 on the stock board. All right, so what are the final?
At the first axle height we did for our first test, we had the rally angle averaging at about 14.05 degrees. And the stock board was averaging at 15.0 degrees. So just a hair under 1 degree more.
Okay.
For the second axle height, we had the rally angle averaging at about 19.15 degrees and the stock board averaging at 20.15 degrees. So again, 1 degree more.
That's interesting. So it doesn't really matter what your tire pressure would be. You get the same, same difference.
You could expect about 1 degree of increased clearance on the stock board compared to the rally board, given that the center is leveled to be level, which we found to be true.
So if you're having a little bit of clearance issues, 1 degree nose up should put you right back to what you're used to.
Yep, if you go in custom shaping and for your stance angle, bump it up 1 degree. That's going to give you that little bit of extra nose clearance back, so you're back to stock nose clearance as long as you're moving at speed.
Right. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And it was good to actually do this the correct way. And so hope you liked it. Comments down below if you have any other suggestions or questions, and we'd be happy to address them. Okay, I almost forgot. We got to look at how angle difference corresponds to height in inches. So for that, we're going to take a look at, turn this on. Does that say 0 degrees now? All right, so we can set that to 0, and let's see what 1 degree of angle change corresponds to. I got a stack of paper here that I've set up. What do we got? 1 degree?
1 degree on the nose.
Okay. .205 inches. In our last video, we said that we were looking at about 1/4 of an inch of difference in clearance. The real answer is 0.2. So we were off by that because that was sloppy. Our first sloppy measurement was this much. The real answer is this much. And what we expected to find initially is this much. So we were off, but I hope not by too much. And that's it. Hopefully this answers all of our questions. Okay, hold on. I'm reading the comments now. I know, I didn't check. Hold on, control the variables. Let's do this right. Fine. Yes, these are both 6.5 inch hubs, but manufacturing differences.
You never know.
You never know. Let's see if we can get these calipers in here and find out. 7.05 inches. Okay, but we don't know if it's round, so let's check over here. 7.05, okay, what about the other side? 7.05 is what we're getting. There it is, right? 7.06. Okay. Okay, so we're looking for 7.05. 7.05 is what we're looking for. And what we're getting here, 6.05. Oh, that, just kidding. 7.06. What do we got here? 7.06. Okay, well, these are machined dimensions, so I'm not surprised that they're fairly consistent, but...
Also, this is the rally board, so that would work in its favor.
7.06. This thing has a solid advantage of 0.01 inches. We might have to redo this whole thing.
I think we're good.
Okay, fine. That's as good as we're gonna get then. All right, now, thank you, guys. Go ride. Cheers. Float on, my friends.
Phew.